You're here with Coach Thornbladh. Like and subscribe. We want you.
What's up, Michigan faithful, your friends, family, I think we got 77 subscribers now. Welcome back. Really excited for this year of the 2025 Michigan Wolverines. We're looking at a great season. We got a lot of fun stuff we want to talk about. I know Coach is excited, chomping at the bit, talk about Big Ten, college football, couple things about the history of Michigan football, and then we'll jump right into it talking about the Michigan Wolverines, breaking them down, see where we think people are going to fit in this year, and then we'll also talk about the Lobos. So how you doing, Coach? What's going on? I don't think I've talked to you since Michigan beat Alabama.
We had a wonderful finish to the season. We beat the team that eventually became the national champs, and we beat them physically and soundly in Columbus. It was a tremendous victory. And then we took on a well-endowed Alabama team, and several of our top players missing. And we did a wonderful job down there in Florida in that bowl game. So we finished on a high note, which I give great credit to Coach Moore. It was a season of ups and downs. It was a roller coaster. I think the low point was the Illinois game. I felt like we were unprepared and didn't play well, but we built from that. Washington was a disappointment, but we came back. So it was Sharon and the staff's first year. We played at the end of the year. We were playing tremendous defense. That came together slowly. Also, our offense was certainly one-dimensional, and at most. We had difficulty throwing the ball downfield. So I anticipate that we're going to have a much better offense, and we're going to be a lot more prolific, and there's going to be greater production. I think undoubtedly we're going to see that. And I think the defense is really, really stocked, talented, loaded. And I think in Coach Martindale's second year, now that he has his system in, I think you're going to see a defense that's really going to be stout with some really talented players, even though we lost probably two of the greatest defensive tackles in the history at the University of Michigan. Two of my favorite players, Grant and of course, Mason. And they will be missed, but I think they'll be replaced by good players. It's like the old days. We always have lost good players at the University of Michigan, but then the next guys coming up step up. And I think we're ready to go. I'm really looking forward to the season. There's great anticipation with the freshman quarterback, a new offensive coordinator that's been around and successful. So I think good things are going to happen.
Yeah.
And then we start tomorrow. Start Thursday. Thursday, we have 4 Big Ten games.
Yeah.
Rutgers, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Nebraska, and they're all playing teams that on paper they should beat. But heck, it's the first game of the season. And, some of those Mid-American teams, Ohio and Miami, Ohio University, I think they won 11 games last year. So we start on Thursday.
I like that head coach, Chuck Martin, man. He's good. He's real good.
Miami, he's very good.
Yeah.
And then Michigan State and Western Michigan are going to play on Friday night. That's going to be fun to watch. I think Michigan State will be much improved. They had problems with the offensive line. I think Aiden Childs is a talented, gifted quarterback, and he's a proven coach. But Western Michigan will come to play. I can assure you of that. It's an interstate game, and those kids from Western are looking forward to playing Friday night. And then Illinois plays Western Illinois. And then we start 11 games on Saturday with every Big Ten, the remaining Big Ten teams in action, including Ohio State, Texas. There's national attention on that. We'll see how the young Ohio State quarterback plays against the Manning kid and a Texas team that has a lot of talent and a very fine coach in Sarkisian. Utah and UCLA play at night. That's going to be interesting. It's funny that we're talking about a Big Ten game on the West Coast at 11 at night, but that's a big game. Northwestern plays a tough Tulane team. But the biggest game of all, the biggest game and the most important game in the country, without question, at least in my mind, the Michigan-New Mexico game.
Absolutely.
On Saturday night with a sellout crowd in beautiful weather in Ann Arbor. And what could be better than that? And I'm looking forward to it.
Well, and definitely one thing I know that you wanted to talk about, um, maybe for the first time in your life or my life, we'll be cheering for Notre Dame in the Notre Dame versus Miami game. CJ Carr will be, obviously the quarterbacks don't play each other, but taking on Carson Beck head to head. He got named the starter.
Georgia quarterback who transferred to Miami, and it's in Miami, and it'll be a hot, humid night. But we're pulling for CJ. I've known him since he was a little bitty boy. Of course, he's Coach Lloyd Carr's grandson, and Tommy Curtis, the great All-American safety for Michigan. That's his grandson. So, and his dad was a player for Michigan. His mom, Tammy Carr, is a wonderful person. So we're anxious to see CJ Carr dominate
I
and do
love
a
it.
great job.
Yeah.
And we're pulling for him.
Oh man, that
Anybody named Carr, I'm for.
yeah, I agree. Coach Carr was unbelievable coach. I was lucky to be around him. I mean, players coach for sure.
Oh, great man, great coach, great person.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, always stops and says hello and goes out of his way to be very nice to me. So we're lucky to know him, lucky to be around him. One thing I wanted to talk about is, Sharon Moore, the head coach in his second year. I think our coaching staff is tremendous. I think they've improved this year. I really like Lindsey's pedigree, what he's done coming from high school football. I mean, he coached in Alabama back when Hoover had all those great players. He was coaching at Hoover High School in Alabama. They had a reality TV show on it. He was the offensive coordinator back then. They had all these players going to Alabama. He's really climbed the ranks and done some unbelievable things at some other unbelievable places.
Well,
I'm excited to see him.
Chip Lindsey's going to take Bryce Underwood under his arm.
Yeah,
Underwood will be under his arm, and it's going to be interesting. Now, the thing I like about Chip Lindsey is I looked at what he did there at North Carolina under Mac Brown. They had a disappointing last season. Of course, Mac left, which made him available because Coach Belichick took over down there at North Carolina. Now, he runs the ball. His run-pass ratio is 55-45.
yeah,
He rushes the ball. And you know what we're going to do under Coach Moore? We're going to run, and we're going to run, and we're going to run until you stop us. That's how we're going to do it. And we're going to be physical. That's Coach Moore's football. And when we had JJ, a talented quarterback, we rushed the ball 55% of the time.
yep,
Now, JJ would carry the ball on occasion, and we'll see what they do with Bryce. And we'll see if they have some of the other younger players maybe in a Wildcat package. But the other thing I liked when I looked at it, the average completion at North Carolina, and they had a really good offense, although they did not have a great year. They threw for like 12.8 per reception, which means he throws the ball downfield. Last year, we had great difficulty throwing the ball downfield. We didn't throw it long successfully or even intermediate routes, which means the secondaries were able to sit on top of us and also react to the run quickly. So it made it difficult for us to move the ball. So I think with Underwood and this really talented guy, and we'll talk a little bit more about what he needs to do at the end. I mean,
yeah,
truly gifted,
yeah,
truly gifted. My great friend Johnny Wenger told me he went to see him play. He said, Bob, he could throw it. He could throw it 50 yards standing on his head. So we all saw him in the spring game, and we saw glimpses of really greatness. He was erratic at times, but he's a freshman. The
yeah,
game will be much faster. Saturday night will be the fastest thing he's ever experienced in terms of as it relates to the opponents and who he's playing. But he has the ability. He's practiced. He's prepared. I believe he's ready to go. Coach Moore, I read a comment that once in a while he would look at Coach Lindsey and they'd say to each other simultaneously, "Is he a freshman?"
yeah,
Because he demonstrated, that kind of ability, maturity during two-a-days. Now,
yeah,
two-a-days are an important time. Preparation is everything. And two-a-days under Coach Schembechler was my experience was a rugged, tough time. One thing that a coach wants is competition within the position. Competition brings out the best in you, and it brings the best players to the top. The cream rises. So you need strong competition. You need competition between units, offense and defense. You need to challenge each other. in order to be ready to go. At the same time, we named our captains, and I like our captains. Bredesen is one of my favorite players ever to play at Michigan, number 44, the H-back, fullback, tight end. And he'll be a great leader along with the offensive guard and Moore, the edge rusher. And who am I missing? Oh, the safety, Moore, who sat out
I,
last year.
I was going to say Rodden. Yeah.
And all those men, every one of those men, have to have their greatest year of football. Every senior at Michigan has to have their greatest year of football on and off the field for us to be successful. They have to be leaders. They have to do all the right things. They have to encourage the young guys. When we encounter adversity, and we shall during the course of the season, as a team and as individuals, those guys have to bring us through that, and that provide leadership. And we've seen it around Michigan for years and years. Even last year, during our difficulty, the kids never surrendered, and they got better, and they finished the year great. Of course, the year before that, we experienced one of the great years in Michigan with tremendous leadership and a great quarterback. So I think I'm optimistic about the future. Now, I'm going to say this, and I don't want to say Appalachian State, so I'm not going to say Appalachian State. This is the first game with a young quarterback. New Mexico has never been a highly rated program. Now, last year, exactly a year ago, when Jason Eck, the head coach now at New Mexico, was the head coach at Idaho, they played a really great Oregon team, and we know that from our own experience. And Oregon prevailed 24-14. They were ahead 17-14 in the fourth quarter and had to score in order to put the game away. And this was the head coach, Jason Eck. Up until he took over the program at Idaho, Idaho had 2 winning seasons in 22. He had 3 winning seasons and took them to FCS bowls every year. This guy played football at Wisconsin and started his coaching career under Barry Alvarez. So he's going to run the ball.
Yep.
He believes in run the ball. He's an offensive line coach, which means he believes in physical football. He has 2 really stud running backs. The kid from Montana State was whatever sector they call that, Mountain West All-American, Humphreys. And he's a man. I mean, he is really a gifted runner. And the other kid coming in who's going to run with him is a kid named Bakeson. He was at Weber State. They're both 1,000-yard rushers. So they're coming into a program where it's going to be ball control. They have a young quarterback who played 6 games at Idaho and followed the offensive coordinator and Coach Eck to New Mexico. And he, in 6 games, he got injured. After 6 games, he was a 67% passer. I do not believe he's a threat to run. But they're going to be a ball control offense. They're not going to be a mistake team. And they're not going to be intimidated because Coach Eck, of course, played in the Big Ten, and they've been around. And they're coming in here to win, and we better be prepared. We better not look past them. Most important game and our biggest challenge right now is the New Mexico Lobos. Nothing else matters. I don't care what Urban Meyer says about Jim Harbaugh or any of that crap or anything that's gone before. Right now, the focus has to be at being our very best and playing our very best.
Well, you can't win the second one until you win the first one, Coach. There's a lot on the line. We got to come ready to play. I think Sharon Moore got the boys ready in 2-a-days. Like you said, you talked about all that stuff in 2-a-days. When I hear him talk, obviously he's a Jim Harbaugh disciple. Bo, I hear him say a lot of the stuff that you always say to me. Who do we play for? We play for our family. We play for our teammates. We play for our friends. One thing I heard Sharon Moore say in the preseason is he says, we got to know where we're going, but we got to know where we came from. He said, there's a number 19 before Bryce. There was a number 2 before Jaden Daniels. There was a number 23. There was a number. So he has, I don't know why that isn't so important at Michigan, and you could maybe elaborate on this, but it seems like the people that understand the tradition and what's important to be successful at Michigan and then can install that in the team are most successful. So it's hard to, it's easy to know, but to get the kids believing in that, that tradition is not always easy.
So we all have come from families, and every family has a tradition.
Yeah.
And much of it is good, I'm certain, as I speak to all our fans out there. I had a wonderful father and mother. They were great people, and war veterans and heroes. And so you build on that. The people that came before at Michigan You stand on their shoulders, and there's a level of expectation. And they always talk about the Michigan man thing. The Michigan man thing means this: you play your very hardest and you give the best account of yourself. And you leave the field, you leave nothing on the field. You play, you play with poise, you play within the rules, you play hard, and you do your utmost. And that's what you do. It's like the whole university. It's committed to excellence. Does that mean there are not other great places? No. Some people perceive that as arrogance. It's not. There is a tradition of excellence in Michigan. We try to be the best English department in the country. We try to be the best medical school in the country. We aspire to greatness. And when we play sports and when we undertake challenges against opponents, we want to be at our very best. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
And, we have all these great guys that came before. All these Carter and Woodson and all these guys and now Mason Graham and JJ and people like that, Corum, and we rely on those people to inspire us and take us higher. Lamar Woodley, I know, was a great inspiration to you, and talked about what it meant to be a Michigan player in a way where that wear that distinctive and great helmet and running out in front of 110,000 of the greatest fans in the world. So we believe in each other. We care about each other. That doesn't mean to diminish any other institution or university. We respect them. We respect their traditions. But we are Michigan. That's who we are. We're proud of it. So we build on that.
Yeah.
Part of it is the coach challenges you, and he challenges you to your best. And football is not an easy sport. It takes 11 people in a coordinated effort, and it's hard, physical, and demanding. And Coach Moore understands that as well as anybody. I talked with Dusty, and I had a chance to visit with John Wengler, Coach Moore, and Dusty May. And they talked to me, and they asked me questions about Bo. And they talked to me about how much they talk about him and rely on him. It was interesting to me that they brought that up because, there was a values, there was an ethic, and that same thing exists. And the players understand that, and they care about that. And, it's great to be part of the Michigan family. It's great to be part of the Ohio State family if you go to Ohio State, Michigan State. It's a wonderful honor and a privilege. And so you play for yourself, you play for your teammates, you play for your family, and you play for Michigan, and you play to win. And that's how we do it. We're not always going to win, but we're going to do our very best. Now, I think we have the number one player in the country. The number one player in the country, to me, his name is Nevada.
I was just going to say that. And they were talking about. They said, I think when we get over the 50, we have a chance at points.
During my Ohio State game, he put them. He kicked the ball.
Put him on his back.
And the Ohio State kid missed 3.
Yep.
And he did the same thing in Alabama. He is money. I won't jinx him, but he is a gifted kicker, and we've had several of them. Moody before that, but this guy's special. And if we get the ball over to 50, we're going to score more often than not. Now, I should mention that New Mexico has a pretty good kicker. But his longest is 47. Our guy, our guy is special.
Yeah.
And so he is a weapon.
Absolutely.
And defenses are going to recognize that. And so it used to be you'd get in the red zone, you try to give them a bad play, force them into a long kick. They look at it differently now. We get over that 50, they got to be thinking, boy, it could be 3.
Yeah.
So that's going to change how they think. So we have him. We got Coach Lindsey in there, and I think he's going to be a big difference. He's going to be a creative play caller.
And I want to ask you about that, but I do, before we get into that, Coach, I do want to kind of touch on this. Like our quarterback room has completely flipped. We have 4 quarterbacks that could play and complete the forward pass. Our starting quarterback last year, who I beat, I love Donovan Moore.
He's one of my favorite players ever played, and he is on the team, and I respect him, and I care deeply about him.
I do too, but he went from the first to the last, and we have a lot of great kids. I mean, think about that. The guy who led us to some big wins last year is now one of the last guys on the depth chart in the rotation. But we've flipped completely. We have, 3 or 4 guys. We've changed that room around. The guy that they just named the starter, we've talked about him a couple times. He's going to be the youngest starter ever in the history of Michigan, not just at quarterback. I'm going to start her out. Now, we've had a couple. I know we talked about it earlier. 1975, Rick Leach. He had 30 yards rushing and 34 yards passing and a touchdown. Then Chad Henne was in 2004. The Gutierrez went down the week of Miami of Ohio. He came in and led us to a win. And then Tate Forcier played Western Michigan and had a great game, 3 touchdowns. So now we got another guy. Bryce Underwood just turned 18 and is the number 1 player in the country right from down the street. Everybody knows the story. And everybody can't say enough good things about him. Coach, I think he's as advertised. I've also seen him win 2 state championships in person. I've seen him play under Bill Sheridan. I've seen him play under Jermaine Crowell. I've seen him have a great career at Belleville. I'm excited to see what he can do here at Michigan. I think he's really bought in. I mean, what do you think about that, Coach? Just
I
turning
think
18.
I would make sure he understands that he doesn't have to win the game for us.
Yep.
He's going to make good choices. He's got to play within himself. He's got to relax. He's got to make, when he goes to the line of scrimmage and we have a running automatic, he has to make good judgments. Where we want to run where we have numeric superiority. He's got to do all those things, but he does not have to win the game for us. We have 2 really good, gifted running backs. We got the Alabama transfer, Haynes, and then we got Jordan Mitchell, the player, the back from, I believe he was Cincinnati. Grew up in Cincinnati, and he showed real glimpses of outstanding ability. And I think there's good players behind those guys.
Oh,
We have really good running backs. I think our receivers are going to be the receiver core, the receiver group will be much improved. It has to be.
yep.
We relied too much on Colston Loveland last year. And we can't do that. We have the big transfer,
McCulley, number 1 from Indiana.
Yeah, he's a big man. He's 6'4". And, it used to be you weren't open unless you had 3 or 2 yards of separation. Now, if you have body position and the quarterback puts it on the right shoulder, you are open. And so he's going to win jump balls. And that's going to be good. And that'll be effective, particularly down on the goal line. In those areas when it's crowded, he can go up and get the ball. Samaj Morgan is back.
I like Frederick Moore, Coach.
Moore's a big.
I think he was open a lot last year, and we just couldn't get him the ball. I think
he was open on intermediate routes, and we couldn't get the ball downfield.
Yep.
And then we have a younger player named Simpson. So we got some. I think we have a good receiver core now. We have Klein coming back at the tight end position, along with Hogan Hansen. So I think tight end. I don't know if we're going to have the same production, and we shouldn't expect the same production that we had with Colston, a first-round draft choice. But I think, we're going to be good. Now, one of the places where we struggled last year, and we talked about not getting the ball downfield, is the offensive line did not come together right away. We have a young offensive line coach that's proven, a proven young offensive line coach, and one of our guys, Grant Newsom. And I have great faith in him. When you have Bredesen leading the attack, usually the point of attack, you're going to get good blocking at the point of attack because he's going to knock linebackers and defensive ends down. Our captain, Max Bredesen.
Oh yeah.
But I think Link, who played right tackle last year and struggled at the beginning of the year, struggled mightily, has been moved to left tackle, and he improved at the end of the year. We have
Frazier from Austin, Texas, Coach. They're saying he could be. They're relying on Link, but he's pushing him.
He's pushing him, and then great freshman who got hurt.
Also, they're saying that Frazier can play both guards. They're saying that if he doesn't get that left tackle, that he can move into another. So we
have 2 good guards. I think that's a strength, and we have a good center, Crippen, who's played. Yep. And then we got Craig over at the right tackle. So I think it'll be much improved. Also, one of the most important things a quarterback is able to do, and Bryce Underwood could do this, is when he is moved within the pocket, he can reset his feet and then get downfield. I think we struggled with that last year. When they got penetration and they moved the quarterback, he took his eyes, he wasn't able to maintain, because he had tremendous pressure last year. And he's wonderful. I'm not going to malign him because I love that kid. He's a great story and a great Michigan man and did a wonderful job and, played at his utmost and is still there contributing. So I think we're going to be improved there.
Yeah.
Now, Michigan is a running team.
Well, this is what I wanted to ask you, Coach. So these two running backs, it's funny how this happens. I don't know if I'm just, tunnel vision on this, but these two running backs remind me of the two backs that were just on our rival team. The two backs that
At Ohio
played,
State,
played for Ohio State. I mean,
they were good backs.
yeah. I
They were
think
good backs.
I think Marshall's kind of like the kid from Judson, and then the Hayes kid is kind of like Tavion Henderson. I think
Yeah.
they play a lot alike, and and like you said, the guys behind those guys are really great. I mean, I'm really interested to see how
So
we
we have a
run the
lot more
football.
weapons, although Khalil did a wonderful job running the ball for us last year. And those tremendous runs against USC, I'll never forget some of those things he did.
Ohio State and USC, man, won the game
He
not
was
single-handedly, but he
he was
won the game.
he was tremendous. He broke tackles, ran strong, came as a linebacker, and did a wonderful job. And we'll make a pro football team. I did just check on him to see how he was doing. He's doing fine.
Yeah.
But I think we have weapons, and I think there's some good younger running backs down behind those guys. So
Well,
I think
they
a lot of
decide.
depth and competition. And so it's a little bit like what happened to Ohio State. You had two running backs, and if you get in there, you better do a good job because the other guy's going to come in and he'll get the playing time. So I don't like. I like to have a couple guys in and out. I do like running backs to get runs underneath their belts so they get used to carrying the ball and getting hit. When they come in cold, you often see a running back fumble. So I think we have weapons. So let's go back to what we were talking about. Bryce Underwood doesn't have to carry everything on his back. It's not all based on his performance. He has to make good choices. When there is adversity, when he has personal adversity, he's got to bounce back. He's got to relax. We also have some good players behind him.
I hope we see a couple guys God willing, everyone plays to their utmost, and we are in the lead. I hope we see a couple guys under center for the Maize and Blue. I want to see Bryce Underwood build his confidence for game 2, but I would like to see the other guys like last year. I think this year for him, there's going to be a couple quarterbacks that play for us.
He will make some mistakes. Bryce Underwood is not perfect. None of us are, and he is not, and he's young. And I want the fans to remember that.
Hopefully.
They're going to see, well, there's going to be adversity at times. I think when JJ's first pass, he threw an interception, if I remember right. I don't know. He went in state threw an interception. It upset me greatly when he was a young player. But so he's got to relax. Doesn't have to win it all. It's a team sport, team game. He's got a lot of weapons, got people to get the ball to. By the same token, he has to let this tremendous ability he has express itself within the system. Within it, he doesn't have to freelance. He doesn't have to do crazy things. One of the things that happens when the kids get flushed, they don't see the backside and they throw interceptions. When they throw across the field, if there's any question, throw the ball out of bounds. Make good choices. Now, he has the ability to get to the second and third receiver. He's that kind of a quarterback, but that'll come with time. So he doesn't have to win the whole game. He's got Savada sitting there. So if you got to take a loss, you got to throw the ball out of bounds when you're in the red zone or close inside R50. Don't try to force a third down and throw in there. Let my man come in there and he'll give you 3. And let's kick well. Let's see how our new punter does. We've had a good punter for the last 2 years. Remember, that's one of the most important plays in sports, the most important play in football. It dictates field position. We want to have a net punt of over 38 yards. That means after the return, we want to at least put them back 38 yards. We never want to give them a short field. A killer is a big punt return or a punt return or a kick return for a touchdown. We can't have that. Turnovers. We cannot have turnovers. And they preach that. And he can't have turnovers. Then again, if he throws an interception, he can't go in the shell. He's got to relax. And that's all up to the coaches. He's a confident kid. He has good mentality. But, when you're in there in front of 110,000 and you don't want to make mistakes, but he's got to relax. And he's got to know he doesn't have to win the game. Now, we expect him to play great, and he will. Believe in himself and play with confidence. And
I,
that's how we'll do it.
I think it's going to be a good career for him. I think it's a great fit. I'm glad he came to Michigan. I'm a believer. So I've seen a lot. You've seen a
Well,
lot of
he's got to
kids.
do it on the field. He's got to do it on the field. He's got great now, and this is a wonderful game to start with. New Mexico has a new head coach, and he's a talented guy. We shouldn't underestimate who this coach is and where he comes from.
Yep.
It's going to be a tough team. They're going to run the ball, and he's going to come in there. He played at Wisconsin when they went to the Rose Bowl for Coach Alvarez. He worked at Colorado for Coach Barnett when they had good teams at Colorado, and he had good teams himself. So he's a confident coach. The offensive coordinator's been with him 3 years. The defensive coordinator came from Memphis. They had an experience. I think they worked together at South Dakota State somewhere. They're friends.
Yeah.
And he was the defense coordinator at Memphis who won 11 games last year and was number 24 in the country. So they have a good coaching staff. They lost 32 players to the portal. Mendenhall took some players with them, but they brought 19 in. One of them is that running back I talked about from Montana State. I believe he's special. So on defense, we have gifted players on defense, but we got to tackle. We got to wrap up. We got to everybody get to the ball. We got to create some turnovers ourselves, which we've historically done. We got to win the turnover battle. Turnovers are killers. Every time you fumble an interception, that's like 7 points against you statistically. Any way you look at it, that's how it typically ends up. So we got to do a good job with that, taking care of the ball. And when there's excitement and when you're in a big house like that, there's excitement in the first game. You cannot lose the ball. Oftentimes, when a player's giving second effort, a running back or a receiver, when they're giving second effort, leverage will come off the ball and the ball will start to flail when they're when they're struggling for yards. They can't do that. You got to secure the ball because now the defensive players are going to come in there and strip the ball.
Oh, they teach it now, Coach. It is everybody is punching and ripping every practice. There is a ball.
I like it when we do it.
Yeah, it's great when we do it. But talking about turnovers, I think our D line could be just as deep, and they've said this on all the podcasts, all the Michigan reviews, as deep as 21. Our defensive line in 21. So I think I think we have
we got Trey, and then we got Trey, right?
Trey is our nose guard.
Squared, and then we got Rashawn Benny,
Payne
who
too.
Really,
Yeah,
Payne, yeah. So we got Trey Payne, Trey Williams, right?
Trey Williams, Trey Pierce.
We got Trey, Trey, and then we got Rashawn Berry. Rashawn Berry has been a great player.
Derek Moore, Coach.
Moore is our captain, and he brings it off the edge. He's a big man, and TJ Guy was an active player, and so was we got a couple other guys, younger guys in there that I'm sure are going to be good edge. They're athletic guys. These edge guys are really athletic.
So
it tackles up good time.
That rotation that these guys have in their breath and they're being able to play so many guys, that makes me believe. I'm excited to see what our defensive backs can do with pressure like that on the quarterback. And people, defensive backs, they got a lot. It's going to be interesting, and they got a leader in that room. Rod Moore is one of the best leaders I've seen in my lifetime at Michigan. Yeah,
if he returns to who he was before he tore his knee apart, and I'm confident he will. He's a great player. And then we got some other guys back there. We got the kids that came from Arkansas, the McAuliffe brothers, I think. Metcalf, McAuliffe, but we got some talented kids.
We got Metcalf. McCauley's our wideout on offense. Zeke Berry, they talk about a lot.
From Arkansas. A couple guys came from Arkansas. And then Berry's back. Those guys are good, talented players. And so, I just feel like Martindale, here's what I just kind of felt last year, that Wink came from pro football. And so in pro football, they give you a book about this thick and you're able to digest it. But younger players in college have a hard time. So I think he put in a lot last year. And then I think he started to recognize that maybe he could simplify it because there are a lot of coverage mistakes, if you remember, in the beginning of the year. So there was not coordination between the fronts and the back, particularly when we brought pressure.
Yep.
So I think as we went on, we got to understand the system.
It's
And
timing. It's where the linebackers line up. It's where they come from. It's how they show their blitz. There's so many intricacies of the linebackers and the defensive ends. Hey, line up tight to this guy when you run this stunt. Hey, be here when you're showing blitz and you're dropping into coverage and switching with this guy that's coming. I mean, there's little things as far as pre-snap that it's hard to do without the experience, without the in-game experience. You can walk through it. You can do it on air. You don't get to hit your quarterback even in practice, when you're good on good. So to get those live fast reps and to get it unison, I think his schemes and his blitzes are going to really hit this year because of the timing. And then I think our coverage is going to marry that, just like you said.
I think last year, the second half of Indiana, the switch went off. The switch went on, not off. The switch went on, and they all came together. If you remember, we shut Indiana down the second half.
Oh yeah.
We should have beat them. It was just we had our inability to move the ball uh, at critical times in that game. Cost us that game against a really good Indiana team,
Yep.
a playoff team. But the Ohio State game was a masterpiece
Oh,
defensively.
well, one thing I'm our defense, I'm all over. I'm interested to see how our DBs play. I think we have the deepest D line we've had in years. And then I'm really excited about our linebacking crew. Number 15,
Huntsman and Barham.
Hausman. Well, Hausman, I think he can play in between the tackles and cover. He can go side, he can run, and he can go sideline to sideline. So it doesn't matter where we're playing, what team we're playing, he can play with anybody. Now, Barnum, I want you to watch where he lines up and what kind of stunts he runs. He'll run a stunt with the nose tackle, and it will be him, and then they'll drop a defensive lineman. So he is very interchangeable off the edge. They can line him up back. They can play him down. And you saw that in the Alabama game. They started doing everything. They really started lining him up in all different places and using his skill set to, come over top tight and, be able to fit in skinny and then make a tackle, put pressure on the edge and then come underneath. He could really run upfield and then come underneath the tackle. And then when he comes across that tackle and he brings everybody across because he's so fast, you lose that edge really fast. So they do some things with him that I don't know if people notice. So definitely check him out this year. Number one, the games they play with him in the defensive line on these blitz packages that he has, it's going to be fun to watch.
I think I'm confident our defense is gonna be very difficult to move the ball on. I believe that. I think there's a lot of talent over there, and I think they're mature, talented, and they've been around now. Coach Martindale's been with them a year. He's been in college football a year, and so I feel good about that. I feel good about Coach Lindsey. And of course, I love Sharon. I think Sharon is a gifted coach when it comes to his offensive line schemes. There are sophisticated things he does in there that other people do not do.
He found a crease last year where we didn't have much down the field threat.
He runs inside the tackle better than those are his schemes, and he's innovative. And I'll tell you this: the thing I recognize too, he felt comfortable when I was with him. And he felt he addressed a crowd of people, NIL people, and he felt comfortable addressing them, and with his own skin. He's not a guy, he's not extrovert. He's not going to be a comedian. He's not going to has such humor certainly, but he's a kind of a stoic, big, strong, silent man, but a leader. And the kids like him. I know this, and the kids respect him. As they should. And he loves Michigan. He talked at length to the group about how grateful and honored he is and how he considers himself a Michigan man, Michigan 100%. As did Coach Dusty May, who was fabulous, and he's a little more animated and fun. But they're both serious-minded men and talented. So we have two really talented coaches and several other talented coaches within our system, the volleyball coach and, the hockey coach. But these guys are special guys. And I like Sharon. I like him.
Yeah.
He's proven.
Yeah.
And
It's
good
gonna
leader, good man.
Yeah, it's going to be good to see Chip Lindsey with him, them kind of marrying that run offense and how
He's a, Chip throws the ball.
Yeah.
He throws the ball downfield more than we have,
Yep.
and successfully. And we cannot let defenses come up and sit like that. We can't let them do that. We got to thread them deep, and we got a couple of those.
So we've talked about the offense. We've talked about the offensive line, the QBs, the wide receivers, the running backs. We just went over the defense.
Kickers. We talked about that. I love that guy.
I'm really excited to see what our punter and our defensive backs do. There's a lot of opportunity there in those positions.
And we have Shemaj. Shemaj is a gifted return guy. We have a couple other guys that'll be that we'll have to see as it evolves. Who's going to be our return guys? Because that can make a difference. If you can negate a long punt or bring
if you get a first down on if you get a first down on punt return, that increases your chance to score. I forget the stat. I used to know when I was a special teams coordinator, but that increases your chances to score points exponentially. I mean, 50-60%.
And I believe that, if you get the ball out past the 30 on your kickoff return, that puts you in great shape, because even if you do not get a first down, you're going to kick the ball down at least to the opponent's 30, and then they'll have a long field, long way to go. So, anytime you get the ball out past the 30 on a kickoff, it's positive. And anytime you can get a good return, 10 yards at least on a punt and or over, that gives it, because that's all field position. In field position, plays are dictated, but what you do is dictated by lateral and horizontal field position and down and distance. And you make decisions on that. And then, of course, you study the other opponent's tendencies, and on the basis of that, you try to get to the right play. And much of that is giving the quarterback the option to get you on the right play on the basis of what he sees pre-snap. And that's a part of the game, and that's what makes it fun.
No, absolutely, Coach. And I think you've went in depth about the, New Mexico's head coach. We can't take them lightly. Some of their players, they have a lot of transfers. They a lot of transfers out, a lot of transfers in. So
the tight end played tight ends from. They got two tight ends. One came from Arizona.
Yep.
Promising player, highly recruited.
2,000-yard backs. I mean, that's not something.
That one back special. The one kid, the kid I talked about, the first kid from Montana State. He's 5'11", 5'10", 210. He's special.
Humphrey and Bankston are the guys.
Bankston is a Weber State and highly regarded Texas back. So, these are good players. These are talented guys, and they're going to come in here. We right away have to dissuade them and persuade them that they're not coming into Michigan Stadium and they're not going to beat us. Not on national TV, not in front of our fans, not in front of our moms and dads, not in front of anybody. And we got to let them know that right away. We got to play good, not make mistakes. It's a martial sport. Football is still a martial sport. And by and large, all things equal, talent equal, the toughest team will win. And Michigan has been tough. Michigan under Harbaugh and Sharon Moore is a physical, tough team. And anybody that beats us is going to have a hard time. They will pay a price because we will be physical. We're going to get to the ball. We're going to tackle. I remember when that kid at Ohio State scrambled, that quarterback Howard.
Yep.
And our secondary guys hit him.
Page.
And that, to a large extent, he and Sharon, and then Sharon Moore, not Sharon Moore, Mason Graham and Grant took the offensive lineman and put him in his lap. And we did a dish, and we kept our two edge guys right on the edge so he couldn't flush. And that was the game right there.
Yeah, it was.
And then we ran the ball, and then Zavada kicked the ball through, and their kid did not.
Well, special teams, as you know, Coach, is very important in winning, especially when you're, at the talent level that Michigan is, and the minute difference between great teams is going to be won by special teams and how we block and tackle and all that good stuff. I'm super excited to do this with you this year. I think we're going to have some fun.
We're
Be
gonna have
good.
fun. We're gonna get more people. We're gonna talk to people. Um, Somehow we got to get feedback. But other than my daughter, who thinks we do a great job, no matter
Yeah,
what we here do, Molly, our number one Michigan fan, now working in the College of Engineering. We're proud of her. But
absolutely.
the Michigan fans are spectacular fans. We got the greatest fans in the world, knowledgeable fans. They love our institution. But let's keep in mind this is game, and these are young men out there, well paid now, young men. They're still our guys. They're students, and we care about them. So let's support them.
Well,
When it
I
happens,
I know you won't say anything, but I've looked at our schedule up and down all day, and I'm going to say that Michigan's going 11-1. I'm not going to tell you which game I think we'll drop, but I will tell you I think we'll be 11-1 going into the playoffs this year, and that's with a lot of opportunity. So I'm excited to see what these guys do.
we do not play Penn State. Which Penn State's fortunate for that.
Well,
And we
Wisconsin,
don't get
US, yeah,
We don't get Illinois. From the other side, we get Purdue and Wisconsin. Wisconsin, this is a big year for Wisconsin. Nebraska will be much improved. We get
yep.
them from the other side. And of course, Michigan State is always difficult in a tough game. And we'll play the last game of the year, and we'll look forward to that. And
I've said this before. I think Jed Fish at Washington
comes to our place.
USC. We got to go to USC.
Greatly improved.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be greatly improved. They're number one recruiting class this year. So it's going to be a big challenge. But let's not look past these guys.
Yep.
And then we'll talk about Oklahoma, which will be a formidable challenge in Oklahoma City. But we're not there yet. They have a great quarterback who transferred there from Washington State. But right now, and I said I wasn't going to say Appalachian State, but I'll say it again, Appalachian State. So what we have to do is be prepared and play at our very best. And if we do that, and if we don't turn the ball over, we're going to be fine. But we cannot take it lightly. We got to play every game, every play, and every series of down like it's our last series of down. And we got to play as hard as we can with passion and play for Michigan, play together, have fun, all those things we talk about. And I think we're going to have a great year. But let's do first things first. First things we do is the defense is going to get the first stop. That's how we're going to start. Defense will get the first stop, and our offense is going to get the first down. And then we go from there. That's how we do it.
Absolutely, Coach. Really good talking to you. Excited for the year. Go Blue, and
Go Blue.
Hey, we'll get this thing out earlier. Hopefully,
football season. It's football season.
We're back. We're back.
I love the fall. I love Michigan. I love our school. I love the Big Ten. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's great. Great to talk to you, Coach. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.